Okay. All right, all right, all right. What's up? What's up? I think we're good here. Let me start the recording here. This is basically just I'm just gonna record it, but um I'm opening up everything so that way um I just wish I can full screen this. I wish they that way everybody can watch it when they want. Okay, share this. Okay, share via tweet. Sure. Tweet. Okay. And yeah. All right, cool. So we open up Twitter over here. And then, oh, unmute this. All right. All right. All right. All right. And let's come here and record. All right. Hello, hello, hello. And welcome everybody to the podcast today. It's me, Zafer. If you don't know who I am, my real name is Donovan. And I am a full-time musician that makes the genre melodic progressive house. It's one that I really enjoy and one that I hope to spread to others. And well, I kind of started up my little podcast here, and one of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about in the podcast session is well becoming the artist. Like, what are some ways that we can become the artist? And what are some things that we can do to basically um, keep our creativity up as an artist? So I think every Saturday we're gonna meet up around this time, maybe 1 p.m., 12 or something like that. And I'm going to chat. If nobody's in the stage or nobody's here, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's not really about who joins. It's about really us putting out this content for other musicians to hopefully hear in the future. And hopefully they can, um, be inspired to create their next tune. So that's kind of the whole big deal here is that we want to really help the artists get what they want to get done. So, well, what are some things that you yourself, if you're a listener, what are some things that you can do to keep your creativity as an artist, and that you already do? So I originally posted this on Twitter, and we can just go ahead and pull that up here. I posted it on Twitter, and I was like, hey, what is it that you think would be good? And this one, first one I got was from I'll go and follow him. He's from @Clements etc. on Twitter, and he says it might sound obvious, but the desire to push past what will work to something that might not, but also might be perfect. And I think that's a good suggestion because the idea is you push just a little bit past your limits. You're not just sitting in your comfort zone the whole time. Rather, you're trying to find ways to push yourself past your perceivable limits because they're not really your limits. It's just what you think you're stuck at. So kind of actually sitting through it and pushing yourself through to the finish is a great way of really kind of inspiring creativity from out of nowhere because the creativity will sort of stem from the process of you sitting down and doing the work itself and trying to make it what you imagine it to be. So I agree with Clement, etc. on Twitter. I think that's a great way to keep your creativity up. And then another tweet was from @Grim Avenue on Twitter. He says, lately it has been working with more instruments. And I like that too. And also, I got a reply from Clements. He says, that's cool. Soon it might be the opposite. And I think those are both valid points where it might be the opposite, where not working with instruments will keep your creativity up. But what Grim Avenue is saying, he's saying working with instruments is is something that helps them be creative, and I think that's actually really cool to to uh, to point out because a lot of times we're in this world where we're just working um, in a digital kind of environment, and sometimes taking a step away from your environment and working with a more like an instrument, something organic, or finding a different method of producing a song is actually more stimulating for your creativity. So I actually do have a ukulele, and I've never been like trained or anything how to play it or anything. I've just practiced it, and I love the way it sounds. So it's something that I use to stimulate creativity even within my own self when I create. So not only do I think that's a good suggestion, that's something that I myself implement to keep my own self creative whenever it's time to become creative. So finding different ways to keep yourself creative is cool. Here's one that I really like, and this one's from at Jack_Lagrange on Twitter. He says, "Hearing a beautiful sound," and I really like that one because honestly, at the end of the day, that's kind of what really inspires me the most to be creative, I think, is hearing stuff that is beautiful, like a beautiful noise that kind of like triggers all these other kind of, um, you know, um, emotions on top of it all as well. And I really like you know, how just basically one sound will inspire the creativity to make a whole song. It's happened to me many times, and I think that that's something that you shouldn't neglect either. Is maybe you should just explore sounds that you think are beautiful, and don't worry so much about the other stuff. Just make that beautiful sound even more beautiful in your head and keep it going. So at Jack Lagrange on Twitter, man, thank you for that one because that is a very good point. And he even put it like an ocean wave emoji, which to me is like, like beach, like hearing the waves on the beach or the waves crashing, which is a great source of inspiration. Um, Let me see. There's another. I think this is the last one I've got, and this one is from at Sparkly Spooky on Twitter. She's very active on there, and she's has a great account, very positive. I really like her tweets. Anyways, her response was, "Well, I give my attention to my design passion and write a lot of poetry, sing my songs, and remember my younger self dreaming about the future I'm living." About how the future I'm living. Well done to her. She has inspired me. And her, she's referring to her younger self, dreaming about all of this. And that's something that's pretty interesting too. Is like if you're not feeling musically creative, so to speak, maybe you have a lot of creativity in the other arts that you don't even know yet. So it's always, it could be worth picking up another, another craft or another art or hobby or something like that, and saying, hey, uh, I'm gonna try to make something like this and see what it turns out to be. So like I actually am becoming more and more fond of designing as I get older in the musician world. Um I used to write stuff, I used to write lyrics and stuff here and there, but I haven't really been a writer as much lately as more of a musician. I just want to write music more so, but I write stuff like that as well. And then, singing your own songs. So like, yeah, like liking your own stuff, enjoying your own music, I think is important because if you enjoy what you create, then you're going to want to create more of it. So, being creative really it's a mental roadblock, because you have the melodies there. They're there. So, they've been there forever and you just have to stay there with them, hang out with them, and put them onto the paper, however that is to be put down. So, that is a great way, I think, that you can do to create and retain your creativity as an artist. And I think that's a great suggestion at Sparkly Spooky on Twitter. I do think that paying attention to other parts of your passions, that is what can uh, really stimulate some creativity within your own world. So I think that's all what people have shouted out on Twitter. If I get any more though, because I've tweeted out a couple of times, then I will post that. Or if anybody else chimes in, I will post that as well. But some things that I personally have used to keep myself creative is, well, I make sure I show up as much as possible. I think a lot of the boundaries to creativity is that you just don't show up and sit down and do it to begin with. So I just show up. So that really kind of keeps me creative. And two, I'm very curious. I let myself be curious about things, and I think that is good for creativity because curiosity sort of breeds these new kind of interactions with sounds or instruments or anything like that, and it breeds a lot of, you know, interesting outcomes. So I think that if you sort of mull around and become curious and experimental a lot, the creativity sort of soars through the roof because with the experimental nature of what you're doing, you're bringing out these qualities in the sound that may be overlooked by others who may have heard it as well. So being experimental helps me out. Also, um, things that I could well, what else? Oh, trying, like something a genre that you like that you haven't tried before. That will open up a lot of things. Sometimes like the drum beat being different makes your brain sort of approach it differently. And then when you do it like that, you sort of when you come back to your main genre, whatever, so to speak, you then are, making creative moves in that genre that you made in the other ones, and that's inspiring these decisions inside of you that you probably didn't know were there, and that's a bonus to creativity. That's a bonus to your productions. um you know what are some other things that I personally do? I freestyle a lot on my instrument, so I do play the piano, but I just play around on it a lot. And that usually playing around on the piano, you can discover a lot of sounds hidden from within that can keep me, that keeps me motivated to kind of push it towards the end. So, finding these little miniature storylines into the sounds, and then taking those little storylines and converting them into bigger, ideas is is very creative, inspiring. It'll definitely inspire some different kind of moves, makes you want to create. Um, you know, Try things like yeah, like going out of your element, or taking a good reset. Where I would say a good reset where you have a stop date, but the stop date means you have a start date. So you can't just really decide, hey, I'm gonna take a break and then not really to come back whenever you feel like it type of thing. I think it's more like, decide that, hey, this Saturday, this Sunday, I'm not going to do anything that has to do with producing. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to go read some information. I'm going to, maybe I'll play games, something like that. Take yourself out of the element of having to produce all the time and make something out of it and go do something else. And then come back to it. Of course, always come back to it. Don't just leave it and say, well, I left it because I was having a hard time and I don't want to try to figure it out. Like, no, you come back to it. Come back to it and figure it out. It's okay. So, and then realize how insignificant you are. That's probably my final kind of philosophical way of of trying to help you keep your creativity as an artist. Realize how unimportant and insignificant your music is. And it doesn't mean that like don't try. Just you're not as big as you think and you're not anything special. And the greatest part about it is, well, you don't have to really impress anybody and keep up this facade that you're a great thing. Just be yourself. And yourself isn't anybody big. Yourself is just a normal person like me and you. We're all normal people. So, we like to help each other out and do things along the way. So, keeping yourself humble to what you're doing is a great way to kind of remember that, you don't have to figure out that melody. You don't have to figure out that chord. Instead, you just sit with it and you work with it. And I think this kind of starts to build a resilience and it keeps you uh, from stepping away from it from too much, because the idea is you really want to commit to finish the project. And if you run out of creative options to go through, then that's a barrier to you completing your project, which we don't want. Becoming the artist, you should stay creative. You should stay creative, and the minute you lose your creativity, you need to assess that and find ways that you can rebuild that or regain that from within yourself or through others. So if you yourself aren't feeling creative, well, go hang out with creative people. Let me tell you that much. Go hang out with somebody who is creating a lot, not trying to shout myself out, but hang out with anybody who's creative and that you enjoy, and go enjoy their process. Go be a part of their creative process, because you're really learning a lot about how to be creative yourself. And then, you know, while you're doing that, I think being supportive at the same time is great. So go study other people, and then, yeah, share their music, comment on their videos, comment on the YouTube videos, comment on the SoundCloud. Don't be so selfish with it. That's something that I have personally have kind of had to realize. Like, my SoundCloud isn't this like sacred place where I'm only allowed to repost certain things and I'm only allowed to like certain things. My Instagram isn't like that either. Now, of course, I'm only going to like and repost what I like. But, just because it isn't in that genre or something doesn't mean I won't. So, because I still find creativity from it all. Like, wow, that was a creative way he did that. So go to Twitch go to Twitch and go to the music producers on Twitch. You'll find a bunch of people, 0 to 1 viewers, and they're amazing. Amazing, I promise. So, if you need some help or finding some creativity, go find these other producers and musicians on Twitch. There's so many, and they're always on there, and they have little to no viewers, and they would love to have somebody to hang out with. It's always nice. So, and then you come out too, being a little bit more creative. You know, because at least you're supporting a creative person if you're not feeling that creative. And the thing is about it is, doing good stuff like that kind of comes back around tenfold on you. You start becoming more creative just naturally. I do believe that. So, keep that little nugget in mind of, hey, yeah, just go see other people's stuff, go watch other people create. And then I think that's really my final sort of nail in the coffin about it. But believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you're doing. Believe that you are an artist. Believe that you can create the music and create it, and believe that it is what you were supposed to create. You'll get better over time. You will always be improving as long as you stay at it. So don't give up. Keep it up, and we will keep trying to keep you creative. So a massive thank you to everybody who had threw your topics and suggestions out on Twitter. Thank you to everybody who are tuning into the live streams. We are on Twitch live pretty much Monday through Saturday in the morning, and we will be doing more music production. We've done some tutorials already. We've getting this Discord server growing. There's a lot of great people. A lot of good stuff is going on, and it's just great to see the growth. So I hope to see more of you, and I hope that this was helpful and beneficial to you in some way. And if you did find any value from it, just leave me a comment. Post something about it. Tweet at me at Zaphyr, Z8PHYR on Twitter. Let me know what you thought about this podcast episode. Massive love, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and tuning in. And I hope this was helpful for to you. Bye, everybody. Okay, good. That recording's done. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're on Twitter, appreciate it as well. I'm hopping off. Yes. Good. And then Discord. Yep. No listeners, so we are in the talking to the space. Bye, Discord. Okay, good. And then I think we're it. Okay, so that's it for live streams for today. Whoa, wait. What happened? Oh, now I get it. Remove. Yeah. Yeah, okay.